Most people read the headlines. I read the small print. This is Footnotes, where I find the biggest stories in the smallest detail. In 1988, a woman named Greet climbed into the attic of her home in Berkshire, England. She was doing some routine cleaning when she came across an old, dusty scrapbook hidden away in a corner. Opening it, she found pages filled with lists of names, photos of young children, and official stamps from a war that had ended more than 40 years earlier. When she took the book downstairs to her husband Nicholas and asked him what it was, he brushed it off. He told her it wasn't important, just some old paperwork from his youth. But Greet kept reading, and as she turned the pages, she realized a staggering truth. The man she had been married to for decades, a quiet, ordinary, retired stockbroker, had pulled off one of the most remarkable rescue missions of World War II, and he had never told a soul, not even her. Let's rewind to December 1938. Nicholas Venton was a 29-year-old British stockbroker planning a skiing holiday in Switzerland. Just before he left, a friend called him from Prague with a grim warning. "Don't go to Switzerland. Come to Prague. I have an interesting assignment for you, and I need your help." When Vinton arrived in Czechoslovakia, the Nazi occupation was already closing in. The city was flooded with refugees, families who had fled Germany and Austria, terrified of what was coming next. Vinton visited the refugee camps. The conditions were freezing, hopeless, and dangerous. While international committees were working to help adults, Vinton noticed that absolutely nothing was being done for the children. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for an official organization to step in. Setting up a makeshift office from a dining table in his hotel room in Prague, Vinton began taking down the names of families desperate to get their children to safety. When he returned to London, Vinton lived a double life. By day, he worked his job at the stock exchange. By night, he fought bureaucratic red tape. He wrote letters to the British government. He pleaded with officials to grant entry visas and forged documents when the paperwork took too long. He placed advertisements in newspapers to find British foster families willing to take these children in, and raised the £50 per child required by the government to guarantee their eventual return home. On March 14, 1939, the first train slipped out of Prague. Over the next 5 months, 7 more trains followed. 8 trains in total, carrying 669 children through the heart of Nazi Germany, across the English Channel, and into the arms of strangers who would save their lives. A 9th train, the largest of all, carrying an additional 250 children, was scheduled to leave on September 1st, 1939. That was the exact day Germany invaded Poland. The borders were sealed. The train never left. It was a heartbreak Nicholas Vinton carried for the rest of his life. Most of those 250 children were never seen again. For 50 years, Vinton didn't see the need to boast. To him, the work was done, the war was over, and it was time to move on. But his wife, Greet, refused to let the story stay in the attic. She passed the scrapbook to a Holocaust historian, and eventually the story reached the BBC. In 1988, Nicholas Vinton was invited to sit in the audience of a popular television program called That's Life. He thought he was just attending as a member of the public. During the show, the host, Esther Ranson, held up Vinton's old scrapbook. She explained the story to the audience, and then she turned to the crowd and asked a simple question. Is there anyone in our audience tonight who owes their life to Nicholas Vinton? If so, would you please stand up? Nicholas Vinton, nearly 80 years old, looked around. Slowly, the entire audience, dozens of people across the studio, stood up. They were the children he had saved, now grown adults with children of their own. Vinton, completely overwhelmed, blinked back tears and adjusted his glasses. He had no idea they would be there. Nicholas Vinton was later knighted by Queen Elizabeth II, becoming Sir Nicholas Vinton. He lived to the incredible age of 106, passing away in 2015. Today, it's estimated that more than 6,000 people are alive because of his actions in 1939. When asked later in life why he did it, he risked everything when so many others looked away. He offered a piece of advice that still echoes today. He said, "If something is not impossible, then there must be a way of doing it." An ordinary man who saw an extraordinary need and chose not to walk away. I'm Brenda, And sometimes you have to be the one to help people out of the footnotes.